Hello and welcome back to another episode of Space Engineers. Today we are finally going for gold as I've made some more modifications to the Wave Rider. Also got a name change for the Wave Rider and did some testing in between. So let's go take a quick look at it. In the last time, we flew out there with these large engines on full-on override the entire way, which is a little inefficient. So that's probably not the right thing to do. I did some testing, and it turns out I can hold a decent cruise with only about, say, 35% override on there. So I can save a lot of fuel, and I should have enough range to get to the gold. So say, for example, in my episode last time, I flew from base over to Cobalt Island, and that was great. I had enough to get here and back on full overcharge, like full override. In my testing, I flew over to this island here and did a buzzed this base and flew back home, which is much further than the Cobalt Island. And I still had tons of fuel to spare. And the gold is literally right here in the ocean. So I should be able to get that done. And get this, get to gold. Which I'm very excited for. But, as you can see, it is still dark where we are, but it is light where we want to go, so we might as well start flying immediately. Otherwise, it's going to be, dark when we get there. It's going to take us a while to fly there. Beyond that, since we've now made this Wave Rider able to fly, oh, and also I snuck in a couple extra small hydrogen tanks to serve as backups, just in case, like, everything goes to absolute shit. But I think we should be fine. Another thing, it's no longer the Wave Rider, because it's no longer riding on the waves, as it is now an aircraft. It is now the Wave Skimmer. So we are skimming above the waves. So, allow us to get the heck out of here. We're going to push away from dock here. Turn off our backwards thruster. Well, we can probably just turn off our dampeners for now. And we will more than likely needs to get full thrust just to get up in the air. And once we are oriented in the right direction with, I think I still have that gyro on, don't I? Yeah, still on override. Turn that gyro off override. I need to be able to correct my wings level. There we go. Now we can go to those thrusters and we can knock them down. And I need to... Let's go gyroscope back on. I need to reset this. I do not want this to be those forwards. I want this to be that large group of thrusters to be on my bar. So groups would be the large thrusters. We'll thrust down, thrust up, and then toggle on off. And then the backwards thrusters will just be my finagling there. So I've tested, and about, say, 35 here is about a good cruising. We're getting 40 meters a second. We're able to maintain altitude. It's a pretty steep angle of attack, but our hydrogen consumption is nowhere near as bad as before. So instead of using the whole 192 per second, they're only using 67 per second, and we are going a bit slower. But honestly, the last time we were only going maybe like an additional 15 meters a second faster. But we're only using now a third of the thrust. So it's going to be a nice, long, slow flight out there. Just go slow. Take your time. Wow. Also, other upgrades I did. I got my all my tools to one chevron, which is awesome. And we emptied out the ship aside from some food and tofu and such to go along on the journey. A little bit of ice in the O2 generator, but just don't want to make sure that I'm carrying too much weight. But other than that, it's going to just be an uneventful flight out to where the gold is, which, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm just going to check the map here that I have, if I go from where my base is directly to Cobalt, I will be slightly left of where I want to aim. So I want to aim slightly right, about there. Realistically, what it should be, if I snap to myself here, and my ship should be good flying along by itself for a moment, it should be that I thread the needle between the Cobalt Island and that base island, which is Niter, and then gold is like literally right out here. So this is my target, this area. Okay. And now we've just got to fly out there, which will take us here, take us a minute, and we'll probably cut this out unless something massively exciting happens. Well, touching base on our journey as we're going here, we're getting close to the cobalt mine, and we've only used 18% hydrogen. In like a few percent of that was just to take off before we had turned our engines down to cruise. Like, this is pretty damn impressive how much fuel savings we're having. I can actually fly out here pretty easily, considering we've gone, okay, so we're near the cobalt here. There we are. We're right in the air right there. And we just want to make sure yeah, we're flying just fine. So there we are, just slowly floating through the air. And on the grand scheme of things, we're halfway there. So if we're halfway with 20% used, we can do it. We can fly to the gold. We're going to have enough fuel. We're going to get there, and we're going to have still 60% left. And we'll be able to have our solar panels going. We'll have our H2O2 generator replenishing some quantity of fuel. And this is awesome. Now, that 80%, which we are at right now, is not indicative of our hydrogen tanks. You see they're at 78%. That's because it's counting also, we have our 4 small hydrogen tanks as our emergency backup. So this is my, oh crap, I am down to like just like a few percentage of hydrogen. I need it to run my engine to keep the power on or something like that. Not meant to be flying on in terms of the amount of hydrogen they have there. So yeah, passing the cobalt mine position here at 79. I would have been easily be able to get to the cobalt mine with just 20% hydrogen, which is impressive. And since my solar panels are doing their thing, I mean, there's no point in not running my my O2 gen, isn't there? I mean, it's only making 10 liters a second, but it's 10 liters a second. You cut that off of your 2 large hydrogen thrusters. It's 5 less. Instead of 67, they're doing 62 liters a second each. It works. But just another few minutes here of coasting. And I believe we need to turn left slightly. Somewhere about there, I'd say. Let me just pull up that map again. Yeah, if we're just going over this part of the Cobalt Island, we essentially just need to go straight west. Maybe one tick north of west. Something like that. And we should fly over the gold field. Excellent. And I do believe that this is boulders on the floor of the ocean. So it's not going to be like drill down and find a giant gold mine. That's the desert. So my giant gold mine eventually is going to be this one. This giant mine. But I require combat to be able to properly take that out. So that's be for the future. But right around here. But yeah, another few minutes of coasting and we'll be there. That's a, what have you, a Spirit of Le Monde. Okay, let's not fly towards that. How about we go left a little bit here? And also we can dive a little bit. That thing is high up in the air, over there. We can dive and go underneath it off to the left. And try to stay at least a couple kilometers away from it. That would be a very good thing. Also, important to note, your altitude indicator is your altitude above the sea level, not your altitude above the water. So, don't think that I actually have 350 meters of height here. I actually probably only have like 150. Maybe 200 meters of water. Because, yeah, we can see here I'm getting quite close to the surface, and it still says I'm 200 meters up, which is completely false. And I should be able to sneak underneath this Spirit of Le Monde. Excellent! And I need to pitch up a little bit, or else I am going to go into the drink. There we go. Pitch for glide. Excellent. Okay. Bad guy dodged. Back to gliding forward. Okay. The Spirit of Le Monde behind us. We're gaining some altitude back. And we are getting to the point in which we're honestly pretty close. Like, as far as I can tell, the gold field is somewhere around here. So, if I turn on my... I do have an ore detector. And we can set it to broadcast using an antenna, which is quite nice. We are only 500 meters above the surface of the ocean here. Or, sorry, 500 meters above the sea floor. We can start to do some searching passes, which hopefully doesn't take us very long, because I super hope that we don't miss it. And we don't. There's gold. Okay. Cutting thrust. Coming in for a land-in. Let's double back a little bit here as we circle in. Kill off some of that. And coming in for a landing. Dampeners are on to stop us in position. Do a little station keeping. And let's take a look at our tanks. They should be ever so slowly refilling. Yep, they're just putting out a few milliliters of hydrogen just to keep us in this one spot. That is absolutely perfect. We can see there's a gold 300 meters down. And I learned, I think I looked it up. It was that crush depth is like 600 meters or 500 meters in water mod. So that is more than doable for a quick dive. So, we've got, we got our hydrogen, which we'll need. I'm thinking, do I need to have the wave skimmer be constantly dampened? I don't think it matters. And I can find out where it is because I've got, you know, I've got the antenna on. So, we grab our drill. We know where that gold is. Let's go get it. God, this is... This is gonna give me issues. Just sinking into nothing. If you have a fear of the ocean, do not watch this episode. As we are just sinking down and down into the darkness onto the ocean floor. And right over here, gold! Oh, yes. Now, I'm not sure how much gold there is actually here. Just a few hundred, it seems. Is there more down? Is there a bigger gold deposit below me? Or is it literally just a little bit here? Or is this stone as well? I'm getting a little bit of stone. That's annoying. Get over there, stone. I don't want to right-click much of this gold if it's the only gold I'm going to get. Yeah, it's stone over here. So it's like just like it's almost like the amount of resources you get from like a meteor impact. It's really small, just a little patch of gold. But okay, we've got a couple thousand. Let's just take that up to this wave skimmer here. And we'll just have to keep coming back, diving down, coming back up, and collecting all this wonderful precious metals. There's the wave skimmer. And pop up, deposit all the components, and then dive back down again. Oh, put away the tool. And then just sink into the abyss. Oh, God, this is frightening. Like, seriously, I do find this slightly unnerving, going down into the darkness like this. And there's the gold. There's my... What? Why is the stone in a perfect circle? That is very weird. But there's gold here, and I ain't giving it up until I get all of it. Well, that stone is going to get very, very annoying. It's too bad there isn't like a... Okay, there's a mod idea. Mod makers, make this for me. Ejector system for your backpack. I want to eject stone out of my backpack. I want it to just shoot out the back. It'll be beautiful. And I have no idea why the stone is in these little balls. Do I just need like to save and reload? Maybe. It just looks really weird.
Inventory full.
Get that stuff over here. And continue gathering more gold. Yeah, try to save and reload and see if those things get fixed up. And no, reload, and these things are still these mysterious sea balls. Okay. Well. Whatever. It all works. And I'm trying to think of how much gold should I be attempting to find down here. Because my understanding, they're just little patches in this area. It isn't this, like, hard, big gold patch. So, what I feel like I should do is if I coast myself forward here a little bit, like that gold is pretty depleted. Ah, you see, there's another gold that it's now clicked over to. So let's stop up. And let's sink down to that one. But let me just first check my inventory for my cargo space here. My collector is full. My medium cargo container hasn't even been touched in terms of the amount of stuff it has. So good. We still have a lot of space in the cargo containers for gold. Off we go. Can I fly down to this? Ooh, I can. It makes it a little bit faster. That's kind of nice. Just gotta make sure I'm not going too quickly and I smuck into the ocean floor. It's a boulder of gold. Look, they're all over the place. Boulders of gold. Oh. It's glorious. Oh, baby. That is absolutely amazing. Any more over here? Oh, just a little patch. But I managed to find 3 giant boulders. Oh, that is great. Well, there you go. That's all the gold I'll need. Screw trying to fight those pirates out in the desert. I'll just come here and go diving for it. Or better yet, I could probably make a little submarine. Make a barge. Attach a submarine to the side of it. Sail the barge out here. Take a little submarine down. Gobble up all this gold. Take it back up to the barge. Drop it off at the barge. There you go. That's the plan. Alright. And I am out of here, I believe. I think that is my last load that I need to take back to the wave skimmer here. As it's full. And I don't want to... Do I want to fill this thing? Oh, that'll be a question of how much hydrogen I have left to get back. Aha, yes, all possible components were deposited, and I still have some gold on my person, so that is it. We are chock-a-block full, and I personally don't want to do any more because I don't want to have this. We have 55 more kilometers to fly back home. And I don't want to run out of hydrogen from my plane being too heavy. Because we've got a fair amount of gold on board. We're going to go full bore just to take off and get some height. And then we'll go into our cruise mode. Which we'll see if the 35% or so cruise is... I'll just go straight up here to get some height. Once we've taken off, we'll level out, get our speed up, and then flip into, say, 35% cruise. And let's see if we can hold that. We are a lot of kilograms heavier. Several thousand kilos heavier than before. So that would be a good thing. But in total, we've got, what is this, 9... plus another 3, so we've got 12, say 14, 17, 18, say about 20, okay? 20,000 kilos of gold, which is a massive haul, really. And this angle of attack is atrocious. And I'm still losing altitude. And I'm still losing speed. Yeah, 35 is not going to cut it. We need to pump this up. Let's try 45% override. With that angle of attack, can I arrest my falling height, please? It looks like that's functioning. Looks like that's stable on my altitude at 1 kilometer, stable on my speed at 45 meters a second. The angle of attack is ridiculous, but it's doable. And, we're on our way home. Yay! We got a whole bunch of gold now. Now, all we need to do is just fly our way home. That being said, if we had a boat or like a ship here that had a much larger capacity, much more fuel, we could honestly, we could divert over and say hi to this base in these islands. And also in these islands, not particularly at this island here, which I think this island has niter on it. I think in this area it has niter. But then also these islands here have niter on them. So if we ever need that, it should be fairly easy to get. Oh my god, and then a shark bait just spawned. Well, thank god I'm freaking flying away. Oh, you have an issue, shark bait? Oh, you have a railgun on you. Please don't shoot me. Please, oh please don't shoot me, Mr. Sharkbait. I don't think there's much I can do. I am getting away from him as I am flying while he is stuck on the ground. Or stuck on the water, that is. But that would have been absolutely horrible if that guy had spawned when I was like in the middle of diving. Can you imagine if he had done that and he'd shot up the wave skimmer while I was like sadness. But for now, we've just gotta fly home, which is going to be another long time of me waiting for the plane to fly as the gyro holds us steady. So, see you guys when we get home. Oh god, a sky factory. Dive, dive, dive. Why do these things always appear on my way? Like, oh, that's actually firing missiles at me. Oh, oh shit. I need to really go out of my way. Let's get the heck out of here. I mean, it'll be fine as long as I do some form of evasion. But goddamn, man. These missiles. They annoying. Can I turn back to home now, please? Every time I try to fly by the cobalt, somebody spawns and is like, nope, you don't get to do that without having to pay your dues of dodging some shit. Oh. And realign to reset. Let's get a little bit more height here. I like cruising up at about 1,000 meters. But still plenty of fuel to fly home on. And should be good there. We'll pitch for glide. We want to be ever so slowly ticking up those meters. Perfection. And then lock it in with our gyroscope. Alright. And some more alt-tabbing while I wait for this thing to fly. Now, since we're getting home a little bit quicker than normal, and I'm feeling a little adventurous, turned up the thrust, and we're flying over where I remember that assert base being. Which, if I wasn't mistaken, it's near the supply mine. The silicon mine. But I wonder, is it even in the entity list anywhere? It would be a large grid. There's the different spaces, a bunch of these static grids. I think the assert base has despawned, because I don't even see it in here anymore. I mean, my trash removal is disabled. As you can see, there's the enable button there. It's just general Space Engineers like trash removal that I can't turn off. That, you know, if you drive halfway across the planet, or if you fly halfway across the planet, the things near you despawn. So it was right below this area, right here in this forest, but now it seems to be gone, which is highly unfortunate. It was fun when that base was there, as I liked the idea of being attacked. I made the entire defensive line specifically for the reason, too. Oh well, let's take a dive in. Let's go take a closer look. Hello? Assert, assert, assert. Are you out there? Hiding in the trees, ready to throw a drone at me? Nope, not there. That's alright. We're coming in for a landing in our bay. Got full-on thrust. We made it back here with, like, we've been burning even more thrust all the way back here, and I'm still getting back here with 40%. So having the ability to, when we're empty, just be able to go real slow and glide our way there, essentially, is absolutely wonderful. But we're fully loaded with gold like this. This thing is sluggish to fly. It's a heavy beast. The other thing I enjoyed about the flight home is that the sun stayed in pretty much the exact same position. I essentially just chased it all the way home. I thought, like, oh, the sun's going down and I'm still way over at my mining site. Oh, it's gonna be like midnight by the time I get home, but it's like, nope, exact same time. Alright, coming in for a landing here. We're going to cut thrust and splash down. We shall turn down the overrides on the big boy engines and coast in towards our dock. We're riding a tiny bit low in the water, but that's because we got tons of gold on board. Now, there's something I want to do and check out before I process the gold, which I'm not sure if I will be able to do that with this first batch, unless I manually do it, which I think I can do. I also have to turn off some blocks before I connect up to make sure the gold doesn't immediately get sucked into the refineries. But there is a block. Oh man, you can see how low in the water we're floating. Damn. There is a block that improves your yields. Now, your modules, your upgrade stuff, like yield, doesn't exist. The speed and the efficiency, those don't exist under IO. What does exist is stuff like the crusher, the rock crusher, crushes stone and ores. Crushed ore can be refined more efficiently, and the purifier or purifier. Further filters impurities from crushed ore to further increase mining yield. Now, this takes advanced computers. I can't make it yet. This is like the second tier. But the crusher just takes ceramics. Beyond that, it's just basic copper and iron stuff. So we should be good to build a rock crusher, which would be amazing. I don't think there is actually a proper order into which way this thing goes, but I could just plug it in right there. Boop, boop. And I don't have the steel plate for it, but that's okay because we can get the steel plate for it. Plug in the rock crusher and get all my resources out. Oh, because I have a ton of gold on me that is probably taking up all of my resource space. So beyond that, we'll have the refineries. We will turn them off, and the smelter, I'll turn them off. That way I can deposit the gold, and the gold ore doesn't immediately get refined, because I wanted to get crushed first. And now I have the inventory space, and I can get this thing built. Absolutely. Once this thing is built, it should automatically crush all that ore and wonderfully get me way more resources out of the gold that I brought back. Downside about this setup here is in a perfect world, you would have the crusher set up in a way that the ore could not go to anywhere but the crusher when it first goes. So if we look at our crusher, it is now taking gold and turning it into crushed gold ore. But I want to make sure that I crush all of the ore before I refine the ore, so that way I get the best yield. Because if I turn on my refineries and such while I'm plugged in, then they're going to suck all of the gold out of the Wave Rider, Wave Skimmer now, and they're going to not get the full yield out of it. But once I have this first load of gold, I should be able to, probably not at this particular base that is, but at my next base where I can refine things and do things a little bit better, I should be able to stockpile and recharge. Set up a system where I have the resource drop off going into rock crushers, into rock purifier, into like crush ore purifiers, into refineries. And so that way I can't miss it. I can just dump ore into this system and have essentially an ore processing plant, which will then refine my stuff wonderfully. So now, if I take a look at my gold, our rock crusher is going crazy, refining that crushed gold ore. And if I turn on this industrial refinery here, this particular one, see, it's grabbing gold, even though it's frickin' shouldn't. So I can turn it off because I do not want gold ore to be processed. I want that to go back into the cargo container so that you get the maximum out of it, which is great. And all we have to do now is let that process. So once the crusher here is done its work, which it will probably take a fair amount of time, I'll get gold ore, and we'll pull all we can into there, which actually that's it. That is all of the gold that we have. So we did only bring home about 20,000 of it. We might be able to just turn this on right now. Is this going to steal the gold ore from the other thing? No, it just steals the crushed stuff. Yeah, it's stealing it from the crusher. That's excellent. Well, there you go. Oh, look at that gold ore flow. And it's processing that little bit of stone, which is excellent. But we can also now go to our microelectronics factory. And we can make gold wire. And we can make advanced computers and such. And it's just doing that tiny bit of crushed gold ore as this thing is able to produce it. But we have enough gold now. You can go to our wire drawer. Our first one here. The other one is helping it. And we can say to the wire drawer, I want you to have 100 gold wire. And this thing will now make 100 gold wire. And chuck a little bit of that over to the cooperative one. With all that gold wire, what else do we need to do? Our microelectronics factory needs plastic, but I believe we have some plastic now, right? We have plastic. So I should be able to save from microelectronics factory 100 advanced computers. And that should kick in. And we're making them. We are building advanced computers. Oh, yeah, baby. That is unlocking so much stuff. Like, I'm actually going to be able to put freaking sorters on stuff now. Conveyor sorters. Like, things that are just, like, so basic for normal space engineers. I can finally do. Ah. Oh, ooh, the munitions factory, right? Munitions factory. I just need advanced computers for that. We can start seeing what we need to make bullets. And we can start making bullets. Oh, yes! 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 Ah. This has been a very productive and wonderful day. We have managed to get one of those last resources we've been troubling with. And we have a craft that is capable of getting to said resource fairly easily. Like, this thing, it's got some range to it. We're able to get all the way out there, and we still had like 60-something% left. So we can start going on some much longer adventures and go get some more resources. And we can start upgrading our stuff a lot more because we've got advanced computers. But that is going to be it for this episode. It is getting dark here, and I just gotta let this stuff process overnight. Thanks for watching, and good hunting out there, fellow space engineers.